All right, good morning. Happy Thursday. That long day today. Couple of announcements. First of all, we are going to take exam 10-1 through 10-3 on Monday during class. So you will not report to WebEx. You will go directly to the testing site that you normally go to and take exam 10.1 through 10.3. All right, so you're doing that on Monday during class. So you're coming to class, you're getting this announcement because I'm going to announce it a bunch of times. So Monday test 10-1 through 10-3. It's during class, so you will not report to WebEx. You'll report to the Precalculus site and take the test like you normally do. All right, the other day I talked about the final exam, and just a reminder for seniors, your final exam is during class on Thursday, May 20th. So if you're a senior, you'll be taking the final exam on Thursday, May 20th during class. All right, the first thing I want to talk about are problems from 10.3. So does anybody have any questions about the problems in 10.3? I should also tell you that I do something to the grade. So your grade is going to turn out to be better than it looks. So what I do is I throw out the lowest test grade per student. And the second thing I do is I give you 1 or 2 free assignments. So I've been encouraging you to get good grades the whole time. So if you get something really close, like a 58%, I'm not going to change the grade. So I'm just letting you know you have to do your part. So the grade's actually going to be better, than what it should be. So make sure you're finishing what you start. All right. Lesson 10.3. Anybody have any questions? Anybody want me to work any problems?
I have.
Yeah.
So, can you work number 25?
Yep. All right. So 25, the problem says find the sum. Now that's a key word because that means we're going to use the sum formula. So it says the first 12 terms. And then here's the other key thing of a geometric sequence. So this word sum in geometric tells us that we're going to use this formula. And I was telling you that it's very important that you have this in front of you or that you have a picture of it on, somewhere. So we're going to be using the sum formula, which is down here, of a finite geometric series. So see, I don't like the way this book writes sequence, because the sum of the geometric sequence is called a series. So I wish that instead of using that word, because it's confusing, I wish they would use the word series, but sum means add. So you do know that it's this formula. So we want S sub n is equal to A sub 1 times 1 minus r to the n over 1 minus r. So this will give us the sum of the first 12 terms. Now let's read the directions, or let's write down the sequence first. So 2, 6, 18, 54, ... Okay, the directions say find the sum of the first n terms of the geometric sequence. So, all right, so here we go. So they want us to find the sum of the first 12 terms. So wherever you see an n, you're going to put a 12. So a sub 1 is the first term, and this would be 1 minus, now we need r. Now r is the common ratio. So to find the common ratio, you're always working backwards. So they're telling us it's geometric, so we know there's a common ratio. It's 6 divided by 2, 18 divided by 6, 54 divided by 18. Now, if this said arithmetic, you wouldn't divide, you would subtract 6 minus 2, 18 minus 6. But when it's geometric, we're dividing. So 2 times what is 6, 3, 6 times what is 18, 3, 18 times what is 54, 3. And we know that it's common because they said it, but now we know what it is. So now where there's an R, you're going to put a 3. And remember that N is the subscript. All right. So that negative is not part of the powers. We've talked about this. So if it's not in parentheses, it's not part of the power. So now we have to do 3 to the 12th. So on your calculator, what's 3 to the 12th? Somebody. On the bottom, we get -2. So can somebody tell?
Is it 531,441?
I don't know. We'll see. All right. So now, because you're multiplying, you could cross cancel these 2's. But when you cancel, don't forget you still have a -1 on the bottom. So what you end up with is when you subtract these, it ends up being a -531,440 because you have to subtract 1. And this is all divided by -1. So a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So the answer is going to be 531,440. So that's the sum of the first 12 terms, and this is the correct answer. Now, you really have to know what you're doing with the negatives. So this negative is not part of the power. So if r was -3, it would be 1 minus a -3 to the 12th power, but that negative right there is not affected by the power. And we've talked about this a lot. So that negative is not part of the power, so do not include it in the power. All right, anybody have any questions about any of these steps?
No, yeah, I got it.
Okay. All right, anybody else have a question or want me to work a problem? Now, remember what I told you. Depending on how you're acting, as far as doing what I want. So, I want you to participate, I want you to show your face in the meetings, I want you to work the problems together. I'm going to be giving you hints about the final. So don't forget that, because I am watching what you're doing, and I will be rewarding you on doing things that I want. So the other day, on Monday, I felt like we worked really well together. So here's your first hint. For the exam on Monday, you do have to know 10.3. But for the final, I'm going to tell you what you need to know for 10.1, 2, and 3. Ready? So for the final, in 10.1, you need to know how to do problem 23 and 31. In 10.2, you need to know how to do 15 and 45. And in 10.3, you need to know how to do 9, 17, and 31.
Can you repeat 10.1?
10.1 is 23 and 31. All right, now that you have that, I'm going to tell you how many points are for each of those problems. In 10.1, number 23 is worth 1 point. Number 31 is worth 2 points. In 10.2, number 15 is worth 1 point. Number 45 is worth 3 points. Better know how to do that one. In 10.3, number 9 is worth 1 point. Number 17 is worth 2 points. And number 31 is worth 1 point. Anybody have any questions about that? Or anybody have any questions about the other problems? So 10.3 is due tonight. The exam is on Monday for 10.1 through 10.3. Anybody want me to work any problems in 10.3?
Can you do number 5?
All right. A sub n is equal to -4 times a sub n minus 1, where they give you the first term is 10. So whenever you see anything like this is recursive. So they're saying that the first term is 10. So when you go to find the second term, it would be -4 times a sub 2 minus 1. Well, isn't that -4 times a sub 1? So isn't that requiring that you know the first term? So what's the first term?
Ten.
So a sub 2 is -40. So then you go to find a sub 3. So you have -4a sub 3 minus 1, which is -4 times a sub 2. Well, don't you need a sub 2? So what's a sub 2?
-40.
So a negative times a negative is a 160. So the third term is a positive 160. So then we go to find a sub 4. Well, wouldn't that be -4 times a sub 4 minus 1? See the n? If it's a 4, that's a 4. If that's a 10, that's a 10. If that's a 9, that's a 9. So this ends up being -4 a sub times a sub 3. Well, what's a sub 3?
-4 times 160.
Mm-hmm. So that would be a negative, 24, 640? Is that right? I don't have the answer in front of me, so. All right, so a sub 5, how many terms? They wanted us to find 5 terms. So this would be -4 times a sub 5 minus 1. Well, isn't that -4 a sub 4? Well, what's a sub 4? -640, right? So a negative times a negative would be a positive. Positive, I don't know what it is. Was it 2560? Can somebody verify that these numbers are right, please?
Yeah, they're right.
Okay. Now, this is what I was saying. You know, some people are like, oh, I see a pattern, I'm not going to use the rules. Well, good luck with that with this. Because first of all, this is alternating signs. So good luck trying to find a pattern. You're not going to be able to do it. So with recursion, it always requires the previous term. So see how it required that 10? This required the -40. This required the 160. And this one required the -640. And this is the easiest way to do it. There is no easier way to do it. Questions about this? Last call before I erase it. Okay, any other questions right now on 10.3? All right. On the last exam, I had 25 messages. I spent pretty much the entire day on Sunday trying to go through the messages. I don't appreciate that. You know, if there's honestly an error or something, I don't mind looking at it. But some of you honestly are just begging and I'm tired of it and I just wish you would stop. So I do expect you to have internet. I do expect you to have a working device. I do expect you to take the exam. So please do what you're supposed to be doing. Okay, I'm not having this issue in other classes at all, not even close. One student said, well, I don't know how to do the shading on the computer. Well, you have to know how to do it. That's why I'm having you study the online problems. You have to be able to input the answers correctly. All right, I'm going to say that again. You are responsible for inputting answers correctly online. That's part of this. So it's like a give and take. During distance learning, you get to use your book, you get to use your notes, you have access to all of this stuff. So in return, know how to input answers online. I'm telling you to study the online problems. Therefore, if you are truly studying them, if you are truly doing them, then you know how to input the answers. If you don't, you should be asking me. So I hope you understand what I'm saying. I do not mind looking at things that are wrong, but some of the stuff you guys are pulling are games, and I don't appreciate games at all, and I will win at the end. It's like, it's just, I'm not gonna tolerate it. So I need you guys to get in line with what I want, please. We have less than a month left of school, so please get in line, all right? And we've been doing this since August, so you should know what's being expected of you. All right. So what we're going to do is I'm going to let you go to your Math Wizard teams. You decide what you're going to do. Are you going to work problems from 10.3? You can work online problems from 10.3, or if everybody's done with everything, you can work online problems for the exam. So I'm giving you time, and I'm giving you a lot of time to study for the exam. You should also be studying tomorrow, the next day, over the weekend. You should prepare for the exam if you want to do well on it. You can't expect to do well on an exam if you think things are going to mystically come to you. They're not going to mystically come to you. You've got to work problems. All right? All right. So we are going to report back so I can answer questions if there are any. We're on that crazy day today. So class is over at, well, I thought we had more time, but we don't. Class is over at 10:15. So I'll see you at 10:10 back here in WebEx. So I'll see you back here at 10:10. So we don't have a lot of time, darn it. So 10:10. All right. And make sure you ask me if you have any questions about anything. I'll see you in your teams. All right. And we're back. So I thought it was interesting. I think I shared this with you in the past that no one ever really told me how to study for a math test. So I would go through all my notes. I would go through everything, but I was just looking at it. So no one ever really told me you need to work problems, you need to work problems, you need to work problems, you need to practice perfectly, get the right answers. And so as a result, in college, I had a lot of trouble. I couldn't pass tests. And the instructors, the professors were always wondering, what's going on with you? You know, you're like, all your work is perfect that we're looking at. You have the highest grade in the class, but yet you can't pass the test. And so part of the problem with me, it's not that I didn't study, I was just studying the wrong way. I mean, I studied, I'd stay up all night studying. That's a bad thing to do too. You know, stay up all night so you're exhausted for a test, or not eat, which I'm notorious at, not eating. So the other thing you want to do besides practice, you want to get an idea about the teacher. You know, if the teacher is just a jerk and just trying to show how stupid you are, you don't have a chance. So you just do the best you can, and the teacher's going to get problems you didn't work in class. The teacher's going to get problems that weren't in the book. I had a professor like that at UCR in a class called linear algebra. There was no hope. And I ended up getting a D-, you know, in the class. And I didn't even take it over again because I'm like, this guy's an idiot. I'm not going to take it over again. I'll still get my degree anyway. However, when you have a teacher that tries to be fair, when you have a teacher that cares, when you have a teacher that is concerned about you and your grade, you want to try to figure out, like, how is this teacher going to test? What is this teacher going to do? And so you should already have an idea about me. And this goes with math, English, history, government, anything you have. You know, what is the teacher going to do? So every single group was looking at lesson 10.3, number 9. And as I went through the groups, I said, why are you working number 9? And everybody said, oh, because you said that's going to be on the final. Well, good for you. Of course, you want to study number 9. So my question was, do you think it's going to be on the exam? So anything that I've stressed, anything that I've told you is going to be on the final, you better bet $1 million that it's going to be on that test on Monday, 10-1, 10-2, 10-3. Because if it's important enough to put on a final, it's important enough to put on that test. So as you go through studying for the final, there's only 2 or 3 problems per section. So think about it. It's only 40 problems. You have 19 sections for the final. So you only have 2 or 3 problems per section. So you want to look at that section and go, what are the most important problems here? What are the problems she focused on? You know, which problems should I study? You don't want to work every single problem in every section. You know, I've already given you hints about you should work the first problems, but when there's a variety of problems, you have to figure out, you know, which one should I study? Which 2 or 3 would she put on the final? All right, so yeah, that's my pep talk for today. You do want to learn how to study effectively for any exam. You know, is the teacher fair? You know, what did the teacher focus on? You know, that I should study, you know, and be heads up with that. All right, well, I will see you tomorrow And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. All right, so have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, Ms. Rich. Have a good day.
Bye, guys. Have a good day.
Have a good one, Ms. Rich.
Bye, guys. Have a good one.